of the ball. That's really impressive. They can score inside, outside, and they can go to that bench and find different ways to score.
Mavericks start on offense, 16-11 overall, 7-7 in the Sun Belt. They are 4-9 away from home and 1-6 on the road in the Sun Belt.
They'll run a lot of ball screens. They'll try to get their guards open for shots, especially Neal, who had a sensational game last Thursday against Monroe. And they'll do a lot of driving, and they like to get the ball in his hands early.
Bryant just beats the shot clock and gives the Mavericks the early lead. Here's the Mavs starting five. Watch number 1 point guard Eric Neal. He's number 1 in the Sun Belt, steals per game, assists per game, and averaging 15 a contest.
Both teams will play a lot of man-to-man. Both teams will really try to put pressure on the ball. They use their hands well, and they both drive the ball well.
Raging Cajuns starting five. Number 32, the senior forward, Bryce Washington, just the 4th player in Sun Belt Conference history with 1,000 career points and 1,000 career rebounds.
Bartley did what I just talked to you about. He's going to look for that three-point shot as often as he can.
He's number 8 in the Sun Belt, averaging 2.3s per game. Hamilton, the transfer, jump hook in. Hamilton, a transfer from Virginia Tech.
He's also a great shot blocker, and he's got that great jump hook.
Number 2 in the conference in shot blocks, averaging right at 11 points per game and right at 8 rebounds per game.
Just hasn't been as consistent as what Coach Cross would like for him to be.
Easy three-pointer right there by Marcus Stroman, the transfer from South Carolina.
That's not his forte. But, boy, did he look good on that one. He's one of those point guards that really looks to pass first. His assist-turnover ratio is the best in the league.
Hervey against Marchetti got the bounce.
I think he's so good in there. He can go over you. He can get to the board so easily.
Bartley takes another. Nailed it. Second three-pointer for Bartley.
They got a little bit of a dribble weave, and Bartley is just coming around, and they're handing him the ball, and he's shooting.
First turnover of the ball game.
Hawkins may be right. It may have been tipped because the Cajuns do a great job, as I alluded to earlier, of using their hands on passes and the dribble.
The drive by Stroman and one.
Defense lunged for the ball, and now Stroman's got a direct angle. See, he lunged for the ball, didn't get it. Now it's a direct line to the basket. I'm not sure that the defense, though, didn't go straight up. I'm not sure that was a foul, but it was a really good drive by Stroman.
And, Coach, what did we say just a few moments ago? We've had 17 total points scored in less than 3 minutes.
Nobody's figured out how to stop the other team right now, but...
Well, Coach, nobody's figured out how to stop Louisiana the entire year. All 12 of their Sun Belt victories have been by double digits.
They are clearly the best team in the league. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't beat them, because Georgia State did. But they are clearly, from top to bottom, the best team in the league.
You mentioned that Georgia State game, their only loss this season. That was a 106-92 defeat in Atlanta. Inside Hamilton, this close. Battle for the rebound, and a foul is going to be called on the Raging Cajuns.
That was an excellent feed inside. Hamilton got behind the defense and then just didn't complete the play, but he did end up getting fouled.
They're checking to see if the ball hit the rim, so the shot clock has been reset. Hervey gets in the lane, had a shot blocked. Bryce Washington got a piece of it. Stroman across half court, takes it coast to coast and kicks it to the corner for Bartley. That's his first miss. Hawkins the rebound.
He loves that three-point shot from that corner as well.
Neal got stripped, got it back. And Bryant, when he received the pass, was standing out of bounds on the sideline.
Now, Bryant's got to be careful. His role is a facilitator, and if he gets to going too quickly and tries to make too many plays himself, I think he is out of character.
And Kalen Wilson checks into the ball game for Bryant. Wilson had gotten injured a couple of games ago. And so they've been bringing him off the bench as Bryant had taken his spot in the starting rotation once he got hurt. And offensive foul on Stroman.
Neal's going to guard you. Neal leads this league in steals, and he puts a lot, and he leads the league in assists as well. He just does a great job of putting pressure on the ball and forces a lot of times the offensive player to do something he shouldn't do, and that's use that arm off on him to clear some space.
12-6, Louisiana with the early lead. To the basket, shot rejected by Gant, who's the #1 shot blocker in the conference. Bartley going coast to coast, got the shot off as he was fouled. He'll go to the line for 2.
Gant does a great job of rotating over, and he does this all the time and just finds different angles. And you'll notice his body isn't close to the offensive player, so there isn't going to be a foul. He does a great job of that.
Bartley, #1 in the conference, 86% at the free throw line, leads the team in free throw makes and attempts at 112 for 130. He's missed only 18 free throws the entire season.
You see, he's so strong, and he has that ability, too, to complete plays around there and take the blow, complete plays, and then get to the free throw line. Now, that one he didn't, but he is a heck of an athlete.
You saw his profile a moment ago. He's from Baton Rouge, Christian Life Academy, but he actually started his career at BYU before transferring back to home.
And he's 23 years of age. I mean, he's a grown man.
Foul's going to be called on the Mavericks.
You got an illegal screen there.
Hervey called for the foul. That'll be the 3rd team foul on the Mavericks.
Now, Hervey doesn't want to pick up a second one here in this first half because they need him on the floor.
They shovel the ball inside to Marchetti, being guarded by Hawkins. Turnaround jumper and got the bounce. Now, that's the hometown bounce right there. 10-point lead for the Raging Cajuns. Neal launches quickly in the offensive set. Rebound by Washington. Stroman, there's contact. That's an offensive foul, and Stroman is picked up 2. So Bob Marlin will have to make a decision as Stroman has picked up 2 quick fouls. His team on top by 10.
Or could the court be playing on them a little bit too?
Well, there's no doubt it is. You have to get accustomed to it. First of all, you got to figure out what the design is. I think when you get up higher, as you can see right here, this is kind of a topography map of the surrounding area and the swamp around Louisiana. But I think it's an acquired taste, Coach. Inside Neal.
I agree with that. And I was just going to say they needed to get Neal involved a little bit, and they ran a play where he just came off a high post screen and got an easy basket.
First basket for Neal. Gant jump hook over Hervey. Hervey grabs the rebound.
He'll look to score from there, and Neal's got to get involved with a great shot fake.
Hervey takes the three-pointer and cans it. Hervey can do that too. You alluded to that. He's a 34% three-point shooter, hits 2.3 a game, which is 9th in the conference. Back the other way, Bartley takes another 3. Gant got the rebound. Stolen. Hawkins, 2-on-2. Put in by Hervey on the follow.
Hervey did a great job of running the floor and getting himself into a position where he was able to grab that block shot and lay the ball in the basket. The Mavericks have got to take the transition game away from the Cajuns because that's where they were getting hurt early. And then they got to guard that young man with the ball.
Get the ball to Washington right there. He's working against Hamilton. And now Gant will take the three-pointer and can it. Jakeenan Gant out of Springfield, Georgia. He was the player of the year in Georgia, originally signed with Missouri, transferred to Louisiana, averaging right at 15 a game.
And he'll look to shoot the ball quickly as he did there. And he just has a feel for creating offensive problems for
Hervey. Nicely done.
He's just got so many different ways to score.
Nobody guarding Gant in the corner after he just hit a three. Misses this one, and Neal will bring it across for the Mavericks. Long lead pass for Hawkins is tipped out of bounds by the Raging Cajuns.
Well, Hervey was guarding, but he fell down and was never able to get back, and nobody rotated out. They were fortunate to get away with that one. They meaning the Mavericks.
Hamilton banging bodies with Washington, tries to step inside him, missed the hook shot. Good job by Washington to defend him without fouling him. Malik Marchetti on the dribble, gives it up to Gant. To the corner, step back, Marchetti, no good. Rebound Washington, offensive glass. Good defense by Hamilton down there. They get it ahead to Hervey. Hervey will pull up. That's a 2. Rebound Washington.
Had a size advantage. Should have taken him right to the bucket.
Bartley, 3. Coach, they don't need a 30-second shot clock in this game.
Oh, my gosh.
They're taking shots about 6 or 7 seconds into the possession.
And the Cajuns are actually shooting it a little bit quicker, although the Mavericks are starting to speed it up a little bit. But on that last one, Hervey should have, as I say, he had a clear size advantage. He should have backed him down and just laid the ball in the bucket.
Julian Harris checks into the ball game for the Mavericks. Bryant is back in for the Mavericks as well.
See, this is where Coach Marlin has got that advantage because he's able to keep scores on the floor. Where now you've taken Neal out, and Neal, for a rest, justifiably so, not being critical of that, but you don't have anybody on the Mavericks team that can do what Neal can do.
Hervey on a cut to the basket, fouled as he shoots, and he'll go to the line for 2.
He started to come up where we are, come off that dribble screen, and then he back cut. It was an excellent pass, and then he gets to the free throw line. Great offensive play.
4th team foul on the Raging Cajuns, first on Jonathan Stove. That puts Hervey in the line. He's out of Bowie High School there in Arlington, Texas, a hometown kid, averaging 20.8 points per game, which is number 2 in the conference behind Georgia State's DeMarcus Simons. 8.6 rebounds per game, which is number 2 in the conference behind Louisiana's Bryce Washington.
We've got a lot of numbers here tonight, just outstanding play.
A lot of big numbers, high rankings. Mavericks had fallen behind by 10. They've now scored 10 of the last 13 points in the game to cut it to 3.
And see, they've eliminated the Cajuns' ability to get involved in transition and score quickly. That's really helped them.
Jump outside, Hardy off rim, off Hervey's hands, so the Raging Cajuns get it.
Bryant's trying to go over the top of that screen and hits a double screen. You can't do that. You got to chase on that thing. And that's how he got caught and banged. But Hardy didn't make it. He didn't make the shot.
Justin Miller in the ball game. Offensive foul, Miller.
Lowered that shoulder. You lower that shoulder, they aren't going to give you a break on it.
Really good job of defense right there. For 2 on his threes, 1 for 2 at the foul line. 10 total points already with a couple of rebounds in 8 minutes of work.
Now you got to get Mr. Neal involved as well. He's only gotten 1 bucket. And then you've got the 2 of the best players in this league scoring, and they need that.
Inside, shot blocked by Washington. Julian Harris had an open lane, but Washington closed it.
Yeah, it was a great rotation over, and what you got to do there, you got to dunk that thing. You got to play above the rim, and he can, and if you don't, that's what can happen.
I think they want to put 15 in, now they do. They had 9 on the shot clock, so they put 15 back up there.
Back him down.
And they've got a size mismatch there, and Hervey takes advantage of it, missed the layup, and Justin Miller comes away with the loose ball.
Too many people got in his way and brought their defensive men in on him. They should have stayed away.
Should have cleared out, you're right.
Yeah, go to it, man.
Miller, bull in the china shop right there, and one.
He does a great job of being, now, and I'm referring to Miller, he does a great job of driving to his right and then coming back to his strong hand, which is his left hand. He loves going to that right shoulder. Really good offensive play. You can't get beat there. You got to stay head up on him and cut him off, and then once he starts to turn, you better get over on that left hand.
6'7", 250 sophomore out of Owensboro, Kentucky High School. Really can use his size to his advantage. Sometimes, though, as I mentioned, bull in the china shop gets him into trouble with an offensive foul. Hervey working against Stove, got free of him, and one.
See, again, he's going against a player that's not as big as he is, and so he can go over him. And the problem was Harris was bringing his man over to screen for him. No, get the devil out of the way, because you're going to either have a trap or a switch and take some of his opportunities away from him.
Stove picks up his second personal foul. That's number 6 on the Raging Cajuns, so they'll have to try somebody different on Hervey. Not a whole lot of luck with that. He's got 12 of their 18 points so far.
And see, Stove's only 6'4", and Hervey's 6'9".
Trying to defend him with quickness. Cutting to the basket. Barkley, nice feed by Miller.
Great back cut, and you're right. Miller was reading it and made a great pass. Great offensive play.
Hervey, man, that's an NBA three-pointer right there off the iron. Miller will take a three, top of the circle, and caught the bounce. That's a couple of hometown bounces on shots for the Raging Cajuns tonight.
He's only a 25% three-point shooter, but you wouldn't have known that on that one.
And Miller just picked up his second personal foul, and that puts the Mavericks in the bonus for the rest of the half.
I don't think Miller was happy with that call, but I thought it was an easy call. I mean, you can't stick your arm out there, and it was his left arm that he stuck out there to try and prevent Neal from driving to the bucket.
So now Miller on the bench, and Stove on the bench with 2 personal fouls, and Eric Neal at the foul line. 77% free throw shooter. He averages 15 a game. He's number 1 in the conference, 7 assists per game. And as you mentioned earlier, number 1 in steals as well, over 2 per game.
Yeah, 182 assists coming into this contest. Great pressure. See, that's what they got to do. They got to put pressure on those long-range transition shots. And then they got to make sure that the Cajuns don't get a second opportunity.
Back to a 9-point lead for the Raging Cajuns. They've led by as much as 10 in this game. Neal under pressure. Rebound Hamilton. Hamilton goes up there. Goaltending. Gant blocked that shot, but it was on its way down.
He's got to use that jump hook because he's not strong enough to push him out of the way. And I'm referring to Hamilton. And if you'll watch him, it's a great rebound. He's not moving Washington. I mean, hey, go over him because you can do that.
So a 7-point lead with just under 10 to play in the half. 3-point attempt by Cedric Russell, freshman on this team out of Alexandria, Louisiana. Ball tipped up into the air by Gant. Bryant got it back. Whip around the arc, and Hawkins missed the layup. Bartley, long rebound. Run opportunity for the Cajuns. They drop it for Gant. Offensive foul.
Good call. Excellent defense.
Marlin just got teed up. Marlin just got teed up.
That was a good call.
Yeah, Marlin came storming out onto the floor, jumping up and down on the court, and that was an easy tee. Eric Neal taking the technical free throws.
Now Neal's missed 2, which is atypical for that young man at 77%.
I think Bob Marlin was legitimately upset with the call, but if his intention was also to get the crowd into it, he accomplished that too.
I think he was legitimately upset, but I don't agree with him. I thought it was a heck of a call and a very good defensive play by Neal. Is that back? Is he quick or is he quick?
A little too fast right there.
Oh, he ruled.
Gant fouled on the jam by Julian Harris.
Harris didn't have any choice. It was either a flush or a foul. I mean, it was a great offensive transition play.
Yeah, take the foul.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the jam right there is going to blow the roof off the building.
Absolutely. Now, if you're Hervey, you back off because you don't want that foul. But, if you're one of the others, if you're a contributor but not the key kid or the hero, yeah, back off.
Gant, 69% free throw shooter, right at 15 points per game, 6.5 rebounds per game. He's also number 1 in the conference, 58% field goal shooter. As I mentioned, Jakeenan Gant, Frank Bartley, Bryce Washington, Malik Marquetti. They've got so many different weapons. Jonathan Stove off the bench, so many different ways to beat you.
They're so athletic, and they guard you. It doesn't look like they guard you, but I'm going to tell you something. They fight you, and they use their hands well.
Neal drops it off for Hamilton.
Great pass. The defense all went after Neal, and he laid it off. Great pass.
Low block. Gant misses. Washington got the offensive rebound, was fouled by Bryant reaching in. That'll be the 6th team foul on the Mavericks.
Bryant let him, Hamilton let him get around him, though, a little bit. And he didn't block him out well, and Washington does a great job of going after the ball.
Next foul on the Mavericks will put the Cajuns in the bonus. And that's a good thing because Louisiana's a great free throw shooting team. They're number 1 in the conference, over 75%. Cedric Russell from downtown.
That's a tough shot. That's a tough shot, and that was good defense.
He averages 6 a game, 43% three-point shooter. Back to a 9-point lead. Hawkins gives it up to Hamilton, rolled off the rim. Hamilton gets it back, shot rejected out of bounds.
The Cajuns are switching the ball screens, and thus they're able to keep pretty.
With the crew of Zulu, I've gone through basically the rank and files, and I was a maid 40 years ago. And so this year I represented the club as being the queen. 2018, I was selected by my husband. It was a wonderful day. We had a phenomenal day. The weather was great to hear your name called. And Zulu begins in the neighborhood that I grew up in, so it was surreal.
And for those that don't know, you really have these heralded catches during Mardi Gras. You don't want to catch the normal beads. So for the crew of Zulu, you have to catch a coconut, which I have right here, made by you. So can you kind of describe what the coconut means?
Well, what it is, this is my signature coconut. Right here you can see the year 2018. On the back you have King Zulu, and on the front is my signature logo. Every king has their own logo, and this was my signature warrior logo.
Awesome. Well, happy Mardi Gras. I don't know if that's a belated or an early happy Mardi Gras, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll let you guys get back to watching Bryce.
Thank you.
Whitney, and while Mama Washington was talking, Bryce came up with a steal. He stole himself a coconut. They didn't get any points on it on the offensive end.
That was really an impressive steal, and then to go around him and come up with a loose ball. That young man is a lot quicker than people think.
It was really a big deal, and Coach Marlin let Bryce go back to New Orleans, his hometown, to be with his mom and dad during the Mardi Gras parade. Of course, Bryce starred at St. Augustine there in New Orleans produced so many great athletes like Leonard Fournette, who started at LSU and now with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Wilson needs to contribute to the Mavs offense. He's that third scorer that they need desperately.
Three-pointer, Cedric Russell. It's his second.
Well, 78% of his shots come from there. I mean, it's unbelievable. You got to make it tougher for him to get the ball right now. He's doing a great job. Just a freshman. I think he's got a bright future.
Hervey with the tip-in right there, Coach. He's got 14 of their 28.
Transition. Both teams are really going quickly down the floor and trying to get something before the defense can get set.
Here's that steal you were talking about.
Right, watch him right there. And look at him go get the ball. I mean, he's around that defensive man or the offensive man so quickly. I was really impressed with that.
I tell you what, Bryce is that guy that really impacts your program. He's number 1 in the conference in rebounds, number 2 in offensive rebounds, number 8 in steals per game. He does a lot of the dirty work, but he's also earning himself some accolades. He's going to be one of the best players ever to come through this program as a 1,000-point scorer and 1,000 career rebound.
Oh, without question, he has found so many different ways, as you alluded to contribute, and he's happy with his role. His energy level is impressive. He's just a heck of a young man.
Bartley in double digits. He's got 12 now for the Raging Cajuns. Their lead has hovered around that 9 and 10-point mark most of the night so far. Neal on the drive, off back iron. Battle for the rebound. Look at Washington. He says, I'll bring it up. Marchetti off the iron. Marchetti's a great three-point shooter, 46% behind the stripe. Ball tipped out of bounds by Gant.
Neal has a feel for where everybody is on the floor. He's coming 90 mile an hour down the floor, and he knows exactly, especially where Hervey is, and tried to get the ball to him.
This is the second game of the season series. Raging Cajuns beat them a month ago. 77-65 in Arlington at the College Park Center. Let's check in with Whitney.
Matt, Bob just mentioned how Eric Neal typically knows where everyone is on the court, especially Kevin Hervey, and that's ironic that you say that because earlier today they were telling me how they kind of have this like telepathic mindset with each other. They said they feel like they have a special connection on the court since they've played together for so long. They really do feel like they know where each other is on the court at all times without even having to look.
Now, one of the things that's interesting is when Neal comes off screen set by Hervey, there's a switch. So all of a sudden, Bartley is guarding Hervey. If they'll let Hervey go down inside and get the devil out of his way and throw it down in there, I mean, that's like a fly trying to mug an elephant. You just can't do it. As good a defensive player as Hervey is.
I'm trying to wrap my head around that analogy that you just used. Russell step back. Third three-pointer of the half for Cedric Russell. This guy's the heir apparent to Bartley. He was a three-star recruit, one of the big-time prospects they signed in their class last season. He's played a mentorship behind Bartley this year, but you can see when he gets the opportunity, he can fill it up.
He's doing a great job. You got to make him put the ball on the deck. I mean, he's just doing a fantastic job, and again, coming off the bench. See, the Mavs don't have that kind of score coming off the bench.
11-point lead for the Raging Cajuns. 4.5 to play in the first half. They space the floor. Gant sets a pick. To the corner it goes, and Bartley, he's got good range there. Misses this time. Wilson grabs the rebound for the Mavericks. Races up the floor. Had it stolen away from behind. Bartley got his hands in there, then gets it back. Wow! Liftoff! Bam! Double liftoff.
That's exciting basketball. Two great athletes made great offensive plays. Bartley
and then Julian Harris back to back. getting an early start on the slam dunk competition going on in L.A. this weekend. Tonight.
Harvey was smart not to get a foul as Bartley just jammed that thing.
Floater by Bartley, tipped up there. Washington keeps it alive, muscles it in. 13-point lead. Raging Cajuns, it's their biggest lead of the game. Neal challenges Bartley. Long three, Russell! It's his fourth of the half, and the Cajuns have opened up a 16-point lead. Scott Russell.
Nobody in this league has somebody coming off the bench that can do that. But I think that the Cajuns' offensive aggressiveness around the glass and going after the ball has really paid off.
Inside, Hervey, shot blocked by Stalkup, but he fouled him to do it.
That's where I think Hervey. That's where I think Hervey has to stay, because they need more baskets around the basket, or when he comes out, they need a switch where now he can take the smaller man to the bucket.
Hervey now 1 for 4 at the foul line in this game, and he's a good free throw shooter, the best on this team, 77%, number 6 in the Sun Belt. 15 points now for Hervey. Got 4 rebounds to go along with it.
Now they put Neal on him, and Neal, they're going to a little bit of a zone here, 2-3 zone. They're trying to trap where on the wings or baseline.
More on the shot clock. Marchetti did not get the bounce. Marchetti now 0 for 3 on his 3-point attempts. Stalkup picked up a foul. It's number 2.
Excuse me, Matt. That's a big, big key in keeping the Cajuns off the board. You've got to do that. You can't take everything away from them. So now you've got to decide, okay, if we take transition game away, take the second shots away, then okay, now you can creep back in it, especially if you can get Neal doing a little bit more and get Hervey around the basket where he can create a lot of problems.
Puts Julian Harris at the line. Senior playing in his 89th career game, 67% free throw shooter, averages 3 points per contest.
And if you remember today, I said to you, Neal had that great game of 35 on Thursday night. I said for most players, it's really difficult to come back and duplicate that or come really close. It really is. People don't understand just how much it takes to score 35 in a game.
He's 1 for 7 tonight, does have 4 assists. Double-digit lead for the Raging Cajuns. All of their wins in the conference have been by double digits. Russell, this time off the mark, put a little bit more pressure on him that time, off of the Raging Cajuns out of bounds.
They actually switched that and flew a bigger man at him, and he had a little bit more difficulty shooting over that hand that was flying at him.
Just his second miss from the floor tonight. All of his attempts have been 3-pointers. Neal gets a screen, splits the defense, kicks to the corner. Wilson, rim out. Davis the rebound.
Great offense, so you see how quick he was going through there.
Less than 2 minutes to play in the half.
Interesting matchup right there on Bartley.
Bartley with 5 on the clock. Hervey the rebound. Hervey's got 5 boards. Hawkins, floater.
Hawkins should have been content to catch the ball, get it out, and get it to Neal. No, that's not his game.
He's 0 for 4 and a timeout call. Iba, and taught him how to coach defense.
That's the Ibas were defensive people. Hank Iba coached the Olympic team for so long. He was the head coach at Oklahoma State. One of the truly greats that ever coached the game.
6 on the shot clock. Bartley, the clock winding down. Gant with 3. And now Russell nearly traveled, and he hit the three-pointer. They're not going to count it. They're going to call it a shot clock violation. That
and the follow-through was right on target.
Yeah, it's not been an easy freshman season for Russell. He lost his grandmother earlier in the year. It really had a big impact on his game. Hawkins in the corner. And Davis the rebound for the Raging Cajuns.
They're getting that shot, and they got to get them down. They got to get enough to where the defense has to start honoring that. Because right now, all of the Cajuns are going to the glass to block the shot.
Difference of 3 seconds, game clock and shot clock here. Offensive foul on Russell.
I'll tell you what, Neal sets you up, and he's able to recover because of that quickness and just get in the way. I mean, he does a great job.
That's the first foul on Russell. 15 seconds left in the half. The best the Mavericks can do as a score here on this possession, get a little bit of momentum heading into the locker room, but they're going to be down double digits.
Yeah, what you see is a ball screen. He didn't even...
Well, no momentum on that as Neal fumbles it out of bounds trying to split the defense. And now 1.3 on the clock for the Raging Cajuns.
Now, they better not let the ball go to the 10-second line or even deeper, because if they do, then the Cajuns are going to have a shot at it. And when I said they can't let that happen, I'm referring to the Mavericks.
Right. Long pass from Hardy. It's caught by Gant. He gets it off. And that is the end of the first half. 47-point half. Even win it.
Well, Neal and Wilson have got to make a contribution. Between them, they're 2 for 11. That's not satisfactory. They can't win if those two scorers don't all of a sudden help Hervey. And you got to get Hervey inside.
Inside for Gant. Shot rejected by Hamilton. Hamilton's the number 2 shot blocker in the conference.
Well, he did a great job of rotating over because Hervey was beat.
The floater missed by Neal. His struggles continue. He's 1 for 8. Let's check in with Whitney Hayward.
Matt, we need to see Louisiana play better defensively, obviously, and I asked, we need to see UTA play better defensively, and I asked Coach Cross, I said, what's the key to that? And he said, we have to be more aggressive on the perimeter. We cannot give the Cajuns any second chances. He felt like they played well and decent offensively. He said, we do need our wings to step up, and I said, how do you get more points on the board, though? And he said, I need Eric Neal and I need Kevin Hervey to keep stepping up and be those leaders that he know they can be.
Yep. 45% shooting for the Raging Cajuns in that first half, 41% on their three-point shots, and perfect 8 for 8 at the foul line, and that's a big reason why the Raging Cajuns have a 17-point lead. This is their biggest lead of the game. Stolen by Bartley. Showtime and a foul.
2 points, Frank Bartley.
Second slamma-jamma for Frank Bartley tonight.
Defense really anticipated well. Bartley played off that lane, and then Hawkins just kind of nonchalantly threw the ball over there. You can't do that. And then Neal tried to create something by blocking it. No, let him dunk the ball and go the other way. No sense of giving him an opportunity for 3 points.
Bartley for a free throw can hit his per-game average, and he does. He's got 17 here tonight. And a 20-point lead for the Raging Cajuns. This is a dangerous spot for the Mavericks. I mean, this could turn into a huge rout if they don't get things together here quickly.
No, I was going to say the first. There
like
we go
this,
again.
Yeah, nonchalant passes. Stroman the lay-in. Just lazy passes on that offensive set. That's twice in a row.
It's the first 5 minutes. They don't have to get even, but I was saying, boy, they got to get close.
Traveling. Oh, no, they called the foul instead on Stroman. That'll be his third.
could have been called either way because I really thought Stroman did a great job of moving his feet and cutting Bryant off, but they gave him the call. Yeah, the Mavs have got to be careful here, man. They got to stay with it. If they start to get really soft, it could get ugly. Yeah, you see the switch now. Yeah, right there.
Nicely done, and Hervey inside, left it short, tip attempt by Hamilton. Third attempt, it was blocked by Marchetti, but a foul is called.
Not sure that was it. He put the ball behind him on the shot and gave the defense an opportunity to block it. I'm talking about Hamilton. Johnny's got to keep the ball out in front or dunk it.
Didn't you think Hervey could have dunked that?
Yes, good point. He could have dunked it, without question. But that was that ball screen I'm talking about. Now you got a real small guy on him. Okay, pull Hamilton up to the high post, clear that out, and now just let Hervey go one-on-one.
Hamilton has 7 points. You see his averages, 11 points per game. $20-point lead for the Raging Cajuns.
Got new point guard. Look at that.
Yeah. Bryce Washington. What can't he do? Sets a screen right there. Bartley. Another three-pointer. That's the 10th three-pointer for the Raging Cajuns. Bartley has 20.
DJ is just too slow. I mean, he's giving Bartley an advantage.
Bryant gets a screen from Hamilton. Can't do anything with it. Neal tries to split the defense. That'll be a foul on the Raging Cajuns.
He is so quick. He split the defense and exploded to the basket. And the only thing that really saved the Cajuns is he's a little guy. He doesn't have a lot of weight to bang in there and complete that play. But he's fun to watch.
Yeah.
I really enjoy watching him.
We've seen Eric Neal have some spectacular games in a Mavericks uniform. Came in with 1,400 career points, over 700 career assists, over 400 career rebounds, over 200 steals. Had the first triple-double in program history against ULM last season. But he is not having a good night tonight. And outside of Hervey, that's pretty much what you could say for all the Mavericks right now. Hawkins, shot rejected by Washington, but he stuck with it. That's the 6th block for the Raging Cajuns tonight. They're number 3 in the conference, averaging 4 blocks per game, so they're over their number. Really been tomahawking those shots. Bartley. Hamilton knocked it out of bounds.
You got to make him, Bartley, you got to make him, and right now it's Bryant guarding him. You got to make him come off those screens and have to put the ball on the deck instead of enough room to shoot the three-point shot.
He's already got his 9th 20-point game of the season here tonight. He did it last week, scored 21 at Georgia Southern. He's done it here tonight. Looking to add to that total, and he does. 11th three-pointer for the Raging Cajuns. Bartley has 23.
That was good defense, too. Wilson was on him, and I tell you what, that was good defensive play. That was a heck of a shot.
Hervey in traffic, missed the layup. Bartley to Washington. Neal. Maybe that'll get him going.
That's his first three, and he makes more threes per game than any other player in the league. That's his first.
It's just the 3rd for the Mavericks tonight.
A lot of dribble screens, and then they use it, complement it with ball screens.
3 on the shot clock. Gant.
2 points, Gant.
Gant now has 7. Neal, scoop shot. There you go, a 3 and then a layup. If they can get him going, they can maybe get back in this game, but they've got to get him going.
Exactly. They got to get him going, and Wilson's got to compliment Neal. So now all of a sudden you have 3 guys that are scoring.
And you just got to wonder how healthy Wilson is. Foul's going to be called on the Mavericks on the floor. And we are 4.5 minutes into the second half of the Raging Cage.
In this league, and I'm going to tell you something, Matt. I don't know whether it'll happen or not, but if they don't win the tournament, that team is one of the best 64 in the country, and they belong in the tournament. That doesn't mean they're going to get there.
Yeah, their RPI right now is 45. From an RPI standpoint, that puts them on the cusp of the bubble. But I think this is going to be one of those years, if Joe Lunardi's projections are accurate, they usually are. Alley-oop! Well, that was accurate. What I was saying was, if the projections are accurate, this is going to be a top-heavy tournament with Power 5 conference teams. I think the little guys, the mid-major guys, going to get squeezed out a little bit this year.
Gant got behind Hervey, and then it was showtime. That's what happened on that play.
Gant knocked away by Neal. Doesn't have numbers. Let's see if he takes it anyway. Knocked out of bounds off of the Raging Cajuns.
See, watch him. And I'm referring to Gant, and he gets behind Hervey, and it's showtime. I said that, didn't I?
You did. Great feed by Stroman right there, who's the number 2 assist man in the conference. That was just his 2nd assist of the night. He's been limited by foul trouble, played only 8 minutes so far this evening. But he's behind that guy right there taking the shot. Neal averages 7 assists per game. Stroman averages 6.6.
Well, see, Stroman is a point guard that is pass first. He isn't a shoot first. And that's why, in part, why those numbers are up so.
Bartley now with 25 points. One off his season high set against this Mavericks team, as you just told his coach. His career high is 31 against Georgia State, so he's got a shot at that number 2.
He just flashed across the middle, and the defense was caught flat-footed. Oh, there it goes out of bounds.
The very mild-mannered Scott Cross looks like he could blow a gasket right now if that was the kind of thing that he does. That's about as upset as you'll see Scott Cross, one of the really good guys in this business.
Yeah, and Turner was cutting to the basket, and he just knocked into Neal. And then Wilson throws the ball, anticipating Neal will be there, but Neal just got knocked away from the pass.
Stowe. Nicely done off the back iron for Stowe. First points of the night for Stowe, who's only played 4 minutes tonight. He's had foul trouble too.
Had a mismatch, just backed him down and went over.
Stolen. Bartley tried to step through. That's going to be a blocking foul on the Mavericks. Still going to let his opinion be known.
But not nearly as animated as he was earlier, because the next one sends him to the locker room.
I don't think he's going to need to get a next one here tonight.
No, I don't either.
Another turnover. Wheels coming off here for the Mavericks.
Yeah, it really is. And Wilson made a poor pass there, but his thinking was right. But you don't know how much of that is because he hasn't played nearly as much lately as he did earlier.
And Washington will go to the foul line. Kalen Wilson picks up his first personal, 4th team foul on the Mavericks. And Bryce Washington at the line. Pretty quiet night for him scoring-wise. He's got 2 points, but he also has 9 rebounds and 4 assists.
And he's a complimentary player. I mean, they just got, as you've alluded to, we both alluded, so many ways to beat you. And when they play hard and aggressively and assertively, they're just really good.
Double dribble on Justin Miller. You know, you were talking about Bryce Washington being a complimentary player coach. You're talking about a guy that has 36 career double-doubles. He's tied for 5th nationally career double-doubles, but you're spot on in saying that he's a complimentary player.
Exactly.
They're not counting on him like the Mavericks are counting on Hervey, like the Mavericks are counting on Neal.
That's right.
Kalen Wilson, that's basket for Wilson. And that's his 2nd of the night.
See, that defense is sucking in, ready to block the shot. Neal does a great job of just finding open people. Oh, that's
offensive
a
foul.
charge.
No, blocking foul is the call. Well, I'm 0 for 2 on those calls.
Well, yeah. I'm not sure that was a good call. Boy, I thought he was playing it, but be that as it may.
Yeah. I thought the charge was a block and the block was a charge, and I'm 0 for 2. Jonathan Stove at the foul line. Stove averages 11 a game. 80% free throw shooter, number 4 in the conference.
And because of his strength and athleticism, see, he can play inside. We saw him back the defensive man down, go over him, and he can also shoot the 3. So he's 39% from the three-point line. So he's another versatile player.
This is a 1,000 career scorer that you have coming off your bench for the Raging Cajuns. 46th player in program history to reach that milestone when he put 28 on the board against Georgia Southern last week. Contact, I think it was the two Mavericks players ran into each other.
Yeah, I think Wilson hit him, and Neal just cut a little too tight.
Neal jitterbugging, left it short. Rebound Justin Miller.
He's got to give that ball up there. That's just too tough a shot.
Well, I think one of the things that has happened with this team as Stove knocks down the three-pointer. To the basket, blocking foul on the Raging Cajuns. What I was getting ready to say, Coach, I think one of the things that's happened with this Mavericks team is when things aren't going well for Hervey, when things aren't going well for Neal,
they've had on the Louisiana basketball team in years past.
well, no doubt, Sean Long, of course, one of the greatest players ever to play in the Sun Belt Conference and certainly out of this program. And Jay Wright played such an integral role in the success of last year's team and a great defensive player, but also a guy that could really score the ball.
Well, two young men that really set the stage for what's going on right now. I mean, it isn't just a one-year kind of thing with what the Cajuns are doing. This program has been very, very competitive and very good for several years, and those two young men were a big, big part of it.
Well, Coach Marlin says that, you know, in order to keep this team's focus, they set their goals for the year. Down to 14 on the shot clock, and Hardy takes a three-point attempt. Miller gets the offensive rebound. On the baseline, no bounce there for the Mavericks, or for the Raging Cajuns. The Mavericks get the ball. Set the goals, number one. They want to be the team with the best record in program history. They got a shot at that. They've got 22 wins, going to get 23, the 23rd here tonight. Also, they want to get to the NCAA tournament, and they want to advance in the NCAA tournament.
And they have the ability to advance in the NCAA tournament. I mean, they are just, they got a lot of really good players. And I'm going to tell you something. Because of their depth, they could win more than one game in it, because after that first game, you know, you start to tire a little bit. But they've got kids that can play. And that depth is really important.
Well, Bobby, as a coach who yourself took a mid-major to the NCAA tournament on a number of occasions, Illinois State, you know how dangerous it can be for a major program to play that mid-major, because you also coached at Indiana with Bobby Knight. How dangerous would this Raging Cajuns draw be for a major conference program, perhaps as a 4 or 5 seed, if the Raging Cajuns end up in that 12 or 13 range?
Oh, I think it could be a really great advantage for the Raging Cajuns. You know, number one, the kids are going to laugh Raging Cajuns. They're going to laugh Lafayette, Louisiana. this team is the real deal, and this is a great athletic town, and they've got great support. Oh, I think they could go a long way. And you're right. In '98, when I was at Western Michigan and we upset Clemson in the first round, Clemson wasn't sure where Western Michigan was located. They kept calling us Western Kentucky. So, I mean, that can happen. Now, we didn't have this. Great block, huh? We couldn't go on. We played Stanford in the second game, and Stanford beat us. We played a half. But this team could go 2 or 3 games into the tournament, and I'd love to see it.
Bob Marlin says Jakeenan Gant is quick off his feet, and good example of it right there. Most of his blocks come as a secondary defender.
He's just a junior.
Holding foul on the Raging Cajuns. Hardy was holding Neal.
Yeah, Hardy wasn't going to let Neal set that screen for Hervey, and he just got in his way and said, no, but you got to give him a clear pass.
Neal, big jump step, got fouled on the drive, and on the shot, he'll go to the line for 2. Gant called for the foul. That's number 2 on him. 17 fouls. So from here on out, the Mavericks are in the bonus.
He is so quick and so explosive, and the other thing that he can do so well, and I'm referring to Neal, is he can slide and avoid the defensive man so well. It's unbelievable what that young man can do. Hasn't had a great night.
Nope.
He had a great night the other night. As I said, boy, that's tough, back to back.
2-time first-team All-Sun Belt. And Hamilton will come into the ball game for the Mavericks. They're down 27. What's your teaching moments, Coach, in a 27-point blowout?
Yeah, and all coaches have been there. Yeah, they're in there. One of us that hadn't been there. But what you do is, in that situation, you sit back and you just kind of analyze, because these 2 teams can play again. And what you're doing is, as the game goes on, you say, okay, now, what do I need to do differently than what I have in the past? You don't get caught up in the score or anything else, and you just figure out, how do I isolate? How do I get Hervey to do more? How can I get Neal some more opportunities? And what do I need to get Wilson going? I mean, that's what you got to do. And you just kind of play it out that way.
Well, it'll be interesting, Coach, when we get to New Orleans, as Neal knocks down the 3. When we get to New Orleans in a couple of weeks, this Raging Cajuns team is, in a lot of ways, going to be in the same kind of spot that the Mavericks were in last year as the number 1 seed. All the pressure on you, knowing that despite the great season that you have just put together, what you do the next 3 days is going to determine whether you make the NCAA tournament. And that's probably going to be the case for the Raging Cajuns as Hamilton. That'll be goaltending.
Without question. And it isn't.
So a lot of pressure on the Raging Cajuns, even when they arrive as the regular season champions, which it looks like they're going to be.
And some people would say, well, the Mavs can't compete with them. Well, I disagree with that. They aren't tonight. Okay, I get that. They aren't as good a team, but they can compete. And we all know that the best team doesn't always win. And Georgia State's already proven that, we can beat them. Okay, and so now Georgia Southern doesn't have depth, but 1 game, 40 minutes, you better be careful there.
It definitely looks like it'll be Louisiana and Georgia State as the likely 1 and 2 seeds in that tournament. I think they are, as the season has gone on, a Georgia Southern win over Georgia State last night notwithstanding. I think as the season has gone on, those 2 teams have kind of separated themselves from the pack a little bit. But the point you just made, Georgia Southern is a team that can beat you and knock you off. That's a team that could also win the tournament. I don't want to take things away from them. But I just think the 1 and 2 seeds have kind of separated themselves from everybody else right now.
I agree with that. And I tell you what, you don't want to play Texas State, because Texas State's going to fight you for 40 minutes. And even if you beat them, you're going to walk off the floor saying, we just went through a war. Now I got to recover in 24 hours and play again. No, it's going to be a great tournament.
Shot was blocked that time by Hamilton.
You know, the other team that's had a hard year is Troy.
Yep.
You were sitting here a year ago and you said to me, I don't know whether you said it on the air or not.
I did.
Troy can win this thing. And you were right on target.
And they did as a number 6 seed.
Yeah, but they're having a really difficult year. So it's not just the Mavericks.
I believe with their loss today at App State, they fall to 7-7 in the conference. The Mavericks are going to drop to 7-8 in the conference. And of course, the Trojans won it last year, winning 4 games.
Yeah.
I mean, they were the 6th seed, and they beat Texas State, the 2 non-favorites in the championship
And
game.
you got Verlander, who's clearly one of the best players in the league. And then you've got one of the best shooters in the league. It's going to be a great tournament. I mean, Carl Benson and his staff just do an unbelievable job of putting together a fun tournament and an exciting tournament.
You mentioned Bernardo, you mentioned Wesley Person, both those guys stars in the Trojans championship run a year ago, back with the Trojans this year. So that's kind of been one of the reasons why it's been surprising that they have not played better than they have.
It's always tough. We were talking to Coach Cross today, and you know, you may have the same players back, but you aren't the same team. I mean, every year is different.
Well, they don't have the same players back. What people get caught up in, and they're, hey, look, I do the same thing. You got Herbie, you got Neal back. Hey, this team's got to be, as Stowe keeps it alive, playing volleyball with himself there at the rim. You know, you got Herbie, the player of the year, back. You got Neal, a first-team all-conference player, back. This was the team that won the regular season championship last year. You know, went deep into the NIT. Yeah, they got to be the favorites to win the conference. I could not disagree. I could not disagree with the choice as them as the preseason favorites. But as you pointed out, not the same team.
That's a pretty good defensive effort.
Herbie at the line. 18 points now for Herbie. Ragin' Cajuns will improve to 23-4 on the season. 4th time in 5 years they've won 20 or more games, and they're going to set the record here tonight, or at least tie the record, for the best start in program history at home. It's their best start already ever in this building, the Cajun Dome, which opened in 1985. And going back to 1978.
Got a little bit of a 2-3 zone, but they left that corner open.
So a foul's going to be called on the Ragin' Cajuns going for the rebound. Miller picks up his 3rd personal foul. Ragin' Cajuns at Troy on Thursday. 7:15 Central Time, UT Arlington. Host Georgia Southern next Thursday. They've got the Eagles and then the Georgia State Panthers coming in next week before they wrap up their regular season on national television, ESPN2, a Friday night game against Texas State.
See, I think the Georgia Southern is a must-win for them if they're going to get that bye. They've got to win at least 2 games in order, I think, to get to the bye, and it would help them if they get 3, but that's a tall order.
Yeah, well, Coach Cross was telling us today he felt like they had to win 3 of their last 4. So if that's the case, that means they've got to win their last 3 now because they're not going to win this one tonight. That means beating Georgia Southern and Georgia State at home and then winning on the road at Texas State.
Yeah, that's a tall order.
No doubt. Backdoor cut, feed by Miller, basket by Davis.
Davis just got behind the whole defense and was really kind of cutting through. He wasn't saying, oh, get me the ball, and then all of a sudden somebody said, hey, he's wide open.
Yeah, Coach, going back to what we were talking about with that schedule, as Neal fouled on his 3-point shot, he's going to get 3 free throws. You know, you look at that schedule, certainly they could win all 3 of those games, but those are certainly 3 games they could lose all of them.
Oh, without question. I mean, those are against outstanding teams that are going to have, they're going to have an impact on this tournament. Raging Cajuns aren't going to walk through this thing.
I mean, I don't know. Well, I was talking about the Mavericks. I don't know that they're favored in any of their last 3 games.
No, I don't.
In my mind.
I don't
not
think
the way
so either.
Not the team we've seen here tonight. Hosting Georgia Southern, hosting Georgia State, on the road at Texas State. They got some things they got to clean up in a hurry.
Yeah, I agree with that, and that's what I say. Those 3 teams are going to have an impact in New Orleans. It's not going to be a cakewalk for the Mavs. And I'll tell you what, they're sitting there saying, those teams are sitting there saying, we can beat these guys. This isn't last year's team.
If they're watching this game tape, they are. Gant flashes up top and fires a 3. And it's saved in the corner by Davis. Davis, shot blocked by Hamilton. And they stayed with it, and Davis put it in. You kind of saw this happening when the Mavericks came out to start this half, and 2 lackadaisical passes, lazy passes that turned into run-out layups for the Raging Cajuns.
You know, that's an excellent point. I thought that if the Mavs were going to get back in it, the first 5 minutes was just crucial for them, and they started that way. Now the air's out, the crowd's into it, you know, and the Cajuns are saying, we got you, we got you.
3-pointer for Neal. He's got 17 now. Miller underneath, foul called on Hamilton. 4th foul on him. Wow. Raging Cajun, 16 of 17 at the foul line tonight.
Coach Marlin's teams have always been good free throw shooting teams, and they've always got to the line a lot because, you know, you're impressed with their 3-point shooting, and it is superb. But they get the ball inside a lot and create offensive opportunities for themselves on power shots or free throws.
You know, and everything you just said is right, is true, but Coach Marlin told us today, you know what? I've never had a free throw shooting team like this. Number 1 in the conference. They're number 15 in the nation in free throws made. Wow, Jacob Broussard, seldom used senior on the court with 5 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, that's a lot of time. If his mom and dad are here, they got to be loving it.
Yeah. I'm guessing he wasn't thinking I'm getting in with 5 minutes to play. Wow, just shredding. Wow.
The defense is just standing, and the Mavs or the Cajuns are just cutting through it. Nobody's guarding anybody as they cut through. No, it's not very good right now.
Wilson the drive. There's contact, and he'll go to the line for 2. So Broussard picks up the foul.
Yeah, but he's in the book.
Started his career at Centenary. Prepped at Lafayette Christian. He is a hometown kid. Nice bounce.
Yeah, you don't see very many of those where you can get clear up at the top and come on back down through.
8 points for Wilson tonight. He had a real scare recently when he was injured a couple of games ago. And big Johnny Hamilton fell on top of him, suffered an upper body injury. With Coach, while they were doing his examination to see if he was okay, they discovered that he suffers from spinal stenosis, which is a narrowing of the spinal column. In football players, it's almost automatically a career ender. In basketball, a little bit different. But in football, if you have spinal stenosis, it's basically the end of your career.
And you know what? I really think that he's not on top of his game yet because of that, and now he isn't playing as much. And I think it'll hopefully by the time we get to New Orleans, he will be back full tilt and ready to go, and because he's a much better player than what we've seen tonight. And the Mavs desperately need him. I mean, they need him in so many different ways, and he's one of those young men that can score in a variety of ways.
Just the third and fourth point of the night for Marchetti, who averages right under 10 a game. Hawkins the miss, and the rebound is saved by the Mavericks. Neal, three-pointer.
Hurry did a nice job there of finding the open man, and again the defense was collapsed and kicking it out to Neal.
Miller. Rebound tipped to the corner and saved by the Mavericks. Ahead to Herbie, and he will jam it. That gets it back to 21 with 3.5 under that play. Davis, three-pointer.
Just to give you an idea, Matt, the Mavs defensively average 73 points a game. And they've given up, what, 22 more? And the game isn't even over.
Oh, it's over.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Neal fouled on his three-point shot. He'll go to the line for 3 free throws for the second time tonight. 95.
The Cajuns have taken 32 threes in this game, where the Mavs have only taken 18.
Yeah, and they hit 13 for 40.5%.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it just, and a lot of them, they were contested. Now, the Mavs defense got soft a little bit and gave too much room, and we saw Russell just come in and destroy them for a while, and they've kept him under control, but not anybody else.
So the question is, can the Cajuns get to 100? They scored 102 in their win at Georgia Southern last week. It was their first 100-point game in the conference since 2004. Coach, it looks like they're going to do it twice in a week. Offensive foul on Stone.
The only way they won't get to 100 points with 2.5 minutes
like
to
that.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Offensive foul.
Yeah, if somebody just, or if the team just says, well, I'll try, but if they continue to play the way they played, even though their key players are not on the floor, yeah, they're gonna score 5 points.
Neal goes to the bench, probably for the rest of the game. Herbie's already there. So 23 for Neal tonight, 21 for Herbie. You look at that, your 2-star players go for 44, and you think that's a good night, but you've been beaten by 21, and it really hasn't even been that close. It's been more like a 30-point game the entire second half.
And Neal didn't get going to the second half, and then Herbie didn't score as much in the second half. And if you're gonna beat this team, those two kids have got to take most of the shots, and then you've got to get some help from Wilson and a little bit from Hamilton.
Hamilton gave him 9 tonight. He was calling for the ball, and Hawkins didn't see him. And Marchetti the rebound.
I think Hawkins has a misunderstanding of what he needs to do in order to contribute. I think he's looking to shoot the ball too much.
Well, Hamilton was wide open. Head up, not head down when you're driving the lane. Crowd wants Broussard to shoot the ball. We're under 2 minutes to play. And he will take a long three. And it was a long three. Marchetti with the offensive rebound will reset the offense. Crowd wants Broussard to get the ball back.
I think what's going on, I think Coach Marlin has just said eat the clock up, because they could have easily put the ball back in the basket.
Stalka. Timeout Marlin, as he'll get Oquan.
And I think Coach Cross made the right decision in taking his key kids out because there's nothing to be gained. You know, why take a chance for an injury? Now, leave Wilson on the floor because he just needs more playing time.
Oh, wow. Hamilton with authority right there, and Stalkup fouled him to put him on the line.
Kind of tweaked his ankle there a little bit as he came down off that dunk. I think he's okay, though, but watch him. You'll see him tweaked. Well, no, he won't get quite that angle.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So that gets him into double figures, pardon me. He's got 11 here tonight to go along with 8 rebounds.
Yeah, he's skipping a little bit. I'd get him out of there.
Yeah, I would too. You got 3 games left in the regular season. In a tournament, you got to win. So
yep.
Can't help you here tonight. Stolen by Hamilton. Scramble.
Evidently that ankle's okay because he moved pretty well right there.
And time now to salute our Under Armour player of the game, and it is Frank Bartley, who went for 25 here tonight on 4 of 9 shooting from behind the three-point line.
26 against them at their place and 25 tonight. That's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
And he was fun to watch. He just, as we referred to a minute ago, he did it all. He just, so many things he can do with the ball in his hands. Well, we may have spoken too soon, Matt. May not get to 100.
Well, they still have one more shot to take. Crowd wants 100. And they want 2 of the bench players to get it. Stalkup tips it in for the 99th point.
I think they gave him a 3 on that.
They counted that as a 3, okay. 177. I thought Stalkup tipped it in. Bryant lays it in. $100-79, the final.